What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's special edition of AEW Big Business, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Mercedes money is all elite, Bayley and AEW to support her best friend, The Rock to take a long break from WWE, Triple H just realized a big mistake, Triple H honoring Vince McMahon tradition, WrestleMania 41 location, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia Shorts. As always, we won't recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good, as Mercedes money is all elite. Mercedes money is all elite, and while her debut wasn't a grand slam, it was still a home run. The former WWE superstar deserves credit for not using a promo to trash talk the WWE, but she cut a promo that felt like it was from the heart, and she got off to a great start. Good to see Jay White and Guns playing heels, as babyface act didn't work. The fans of Jay White and the Gun Club rejoice as the three wrestlers are back to playing heels following their attack on Darby Allin and their supposed pals, The Acclaim. AEW deserves credit for trying something different with Jay White, as his run in AEW has sputtered from the heart. However, it was clear the babyface act wasn't working, and pairing him with the Brothers Gunn and with The Acclaimed was a hot mess. Hopefully AEW can figure out a strong program for White, as he should have a better role in AEW. Effective Kyle O'Reilly promo. Does Kyle O'Reilly have a rocket strapped to his back that's going to take him to the main event? To quote the late great Gorilla Monsoon, highly unlikely. Nonetheless, Kyle's promo made you believe that he has a lot to prove and that he's going to make things happen. Whether this happens is up to AEW, and hopefully the company knows it's not wise to have wrestlers cut spirited promos only to end up as jobbers. And Will Ospreay is the total package. Not only can Will Ospreay deliver 5-star matches or even 6-star matches, but he also knows how to cut 5-star promos, as seen last night when he discussed fighting Bryan Danielson. But that was a good what about the bad, is number 1, Wardlow jobs again. Samoa Joe looked like a beast last night, taking a beating from Wardlow, yet emerging victorious with a clean win via Coquina Clutch. The match also set up the inevitable Swerve Strickland vs Joe rematch. So what was actually bad about it? Well, what was bad was that AEW booked Wardlow as Samoa Joe's victim when Mr. Mayhem is supposed to be back on top thanks to his membership in the Undisputed Kingdom. AEW had Adam Cole build Wardlow up in a good pre-match hype video, only to make him look like just another of AEW's big men job squad. AEW should have booked someone such as Powerhouse Hobbs, Brian Cage, or Lance Archer instead, and protected Wardlow for the future. Instead, it's the same old Wardlow. Number 2 was Willow vs Rio Big Business. Willow Nightingale vs Rio wasn't exactly a main event. Sure, the match was all about having Mercedes run in to help her New Japan opponent Willow against Julia Hart and Sky Blue, but the match itself was a bad example of what AEW's women's division offers. And AEW had one job. As exciting as Mercedes Money's debut was last night, Dynamite was all about one thing: using interest in her AEW arrival to engage new fans and convince existing fans that Dynamite is the destination television. Unfortunately, Big Business wasn't as big as it should have been. The problem is that Dynamite no longer tries to top previous week's shows with things like wild brawls, title changes, or anything that piques fan interest. Big Business should have been big with a capital B, but it wasn't, which means AEW missed on a golden opportunity. But at least there was nothing ugly. Mercedes Money's return was well done, and fans of women's wrestling have to be excited to see where things go from here. What do you guys think of the special edition of Dynamite this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now first looks at major Mercedes Money news. Now, there's plenty going on in the wrestling world, but right now it's all about Mercedes Money. First, let's look at details emerging on Mercedes becoming all elite. While a new report from Fightful selects Mercedes Money has been signed to AEW since January, the road to AEW had plenty of detours. First, there was a devastating injury she suffered last year, which doctors told her career was ending, and a fight to get back in the ring. Then there was Mercedes' appearance at All In at Wembley Stadium, followed by the shocking news that she was negotiating with the WWE. Clearly a lot happened between last summer and last night's debut. According to Fightful Select, New Japan Pro Wrestling expects to be factored into this deal, which means that fans will continue to see money in Japan. As for specifics of the AEW Mercedes deal, sources confirmed to Fightful and McMahon Wrestling's Andrew Zarian that Money has been on the AEW payroll for well over 2 months, with some sources said that they believe that the deal was effectively agreed upon back in December when Mercedes landed several trademarks in relation to her name. Those we have spoken to believe this contract is a multi-year deal. We're working to confirm that. There were reports that Mercedes and the WWE couldn't agree on financial terms, and this likely led to a reassessing their options, which led to further talks with AEW. But Fightful added, at that point, Fightful learned that AEW Mercedes had re-entered talks and that they expected to land her. Within the first week of January, there were already discussions about a debut, with some in the company even being told that both January 3rd and 10th were possibilities. However, Mercedes were not anywhere near physically cleared by that point. But who will she wrestle first? Now that the CEO is in AEW, fans are asking who she'll wrestle first and when the match will happen. Right now, we don't know as AEW hasn't booked anything. However, the ending at Big Business opened the door to Money teaming with Willow Nightingale to battle Julia Hart and Sky Blue, or the CEO possibly challenging Hart for the TBS title. Who would you guys like to see Mercedes wrestle first? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Bayley was in the AEW attendance to support her best friend. As expected, Bayley showed up in Boston to support Mercedes' debut at Big Business. Several sites have reported about fans spotting the role model in Boston, and in addition, Naomi tweeted a funny video of herself, Bayley, and Tamina disguising themselves to avoid being identified at the show. It is, however, still unknown if Tamina or Naomi were in the audience. Next up, The Rock to take a long break from WWE. Is The Rock going to wrestle at the WWE's upcoming Saudi Arabia show? Not if a recent report from PW Insider is accurate. Fans have heard rumors that there was interest in the People's Champion appearing at the 24th May Saudi Arabia PLE, but according to PW Insider, PWInsider.com has confirmed that casting is underway for a number of supporting characters in the film, which we can exclusively confirm is currently slated to film from 1st May through to 1st August. This would likely take him out of doing anything physical for WWE during that time period. There's no word on whether the film's shooting schedule will keep The Rock from working SummerSlam. While the schedule looks good for him to appear, films have been known to run over schedule, and booking The Rock at SummerSlam could be a little tricky. Next up, Triple H realizes a big mistake. Triple H deserves praise for his booking, but the game may have made a major blunder by not signing Will Ospreay. Ospreay is already lighting things up in AEW, and Dave Meltzer recently weighed in on how Triple H may have miscalculated. He started just a couple of weeks ago, 10 days ago actually, right? 11 days ago, whenever it is 10 days ago, and he's like getting this kind of reaction. And yeah, I know people in WWE when this was going down, it was becoming very clear that he was going to AEW and not WWE. The WWE offered a lot less money, and I know people that were going to like eat Triple H didn't realize. They knew, but he just thought he was one of these great workers. But this guy has a chance to be, we'll see. As far as the complete package, there's very few people, as far as the complete total package. Do you think WWE should have signed Ospreay? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Triple H honoring Vince McMahon tradition. Vince McMahon may be persona non grata in WWE, but Dave Meltzer is reporting Triple H is apparently carrying on a Vince McMahon tradition when it comes to the WWE Hall of Fame. When Vince McMahon picked the Hall of Fame, they had a certain quoted thing of there has to be a black wrestler and there has to be a women's wrestler in every class. In the new Hall of Fame, it appears that is the same thing. Next up, Jey Uso talks Bloodline reunion. Is Jey Uso considering rejoining the Bloodline after exiting the family faction last year? Well, Jey appeared on the Battleground podcast, and this is what he said. "We the ones, we the Bloodline. Whether we're separated or not, we're just that good now and people need to step up. We're going to keep running it and we're going to keep adding more. The Bloodline runs deep. We're going to keep doing it. The Bloodline brought the drama, brought the theatrics, brought the cinema. I feel like your boy was the heart of the Bloodline. They can add The Rock, they can add them all. It isn't going to be the Bloodline until Jey Uso is back." Do you think Jey Uso will rejoin his brothers and cousins in the Bloodline, and if so, will this mean he'll return to playing a heel? Next up, Jim Ross's last year. JR recently revealed that he signed a new one-year deal, and now good old JR discussed his broadcasting future during a recent edition of his Grill and JR podcast. When asked if this will be his last year calling the action in AEW, he answered, "I think so. It's realistic to think that way. I'm 72 years old, I feel good, I'm getting healthier every day, which is great, but I can think realistically this could be my last year. I more than likely will. That's to be determined. That's between me, my health, and Tony Khan seeing how much to utilize me." And finally, WrestleMania 41 coming to Minnesota. And last but not least, more told that Minneapolis, Minnesota will host WrestleMania 41. The Star Tribune is reporting Minneapolis is the finalist to host the Showcase of the Immortals. However, an official announcement is expected sometime in April. But there you have it, folks. I will look at Dynamite this week, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.